Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another week of In the Huddle, episode 67. Damn, 67 episodes in the book since WSUC with the real Lil. It is crazy how far we've come, man. We're still cooking up from home. I am Kenny C. Alongside me, per usual, is the real Lil, Cam Jones and Zach Kroll. Fellas, how we doing?
I'm doing good, man. We just had a little pre-show that wasn't recorded. So we kind of have an idea of how this show is going to go. And ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, because I'm coming from my receipts. I'm the IRS today. I'm coming from my Tom Brady receipts.
Cam?
Well, in the first topic, just want to say happy Monday to everybody. I hope everyone had a great day today. I'm having a great day right now because there's football on right now. When there's football on, just know that I'm in a great mood right now. Let's talk football.
Yeah, another Monday here. Another great Sunday in the books. You guys know there's no season like the NFL season. It just flies by year after year, week after week. You guys know the NFL season. It comes here with full force, and I'm looking forward to talking about everything that went down on another Sunday with you guys here today.
And week 6 after today's doubleheader games is going to wrap up. Like you said, Zach, this damn thing is flying, and it's crazy how it does it every year. And last night's 4:25 game, yesterday evening, the Tampa Bay Bucs defeated the Green Bay Packers 38-10. Here's the question, fellas. Where should the Bucs be ranked in the top-tier teams in the NFC after this win?
Cam, you take us away?
Well, honestly, I feel like the Bucs should be number 3 in the NFC. The other two teams I have above the Bucs are the Seattle Seahawks and the Green Bay Packers. Unfortunately, the Packers got their behind whoop yesterday, 38-10. By the Buccaneers. But I don't feel like the Buccaneers, if it was a playoff matchup between the Bucs or the Packs, I believe that the Packers will come out victorious, and Rodgers will come in clutch. And I feel like something about that Bucs team, they're missing something, but I feel like they're number 3 in the NFC.
Cam, I think you lost your mind completely upon talking right now, because I don't know how in the world you could watch this game yesterday, see the Packers get trounced and bounced for the ounce, and come here and sit here with your mouth and say that they are better than the Buccaneers. I don't understand it. I know y'all like the improv right there. That's why I call me the real Lil. But let's get right into it, man. The Buccaneers are the second best team behind the Seattle Seahawks. I'm coming from my receipts today. I let everybody know that I had got previous requests from mutual friends of us, for me to come at Kenny C because of how Kenny C talked about Tom Brady and the Buccaneers before. So I'm gonna answer the call from the American people in a second. But the reason why I don't trust the Packers to be in that top tier range, I do believe they're middle of the pack NFC team, probably borderline contender in those top 4. But I don't see them being number 2 or number 1 simply because they cannot come back from behind. They have not shown me the ability to come back from behind. Aaron Rodgers, when trailing at any point in the game, is .477 behind Big Ben, behind Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, Jimmy G, and Tim Tebow. Okay, so he hasn't shown me an ability out of all the good stats that he has, touchdown to interception ratio. He has not shown me the ability to come back. And Packers is going to win some games. They're going to win a lot of games. They won a lot of games the last 2 years. But when they lose, they get trounced. We saw it against the 49ers twice in the regular season and in the playoffs. And we've seen it with the Buccaneers yesterday. When they lose, they get bounced. And that's exactly what happened. The defensive line for the Buccaneers, Levante David, Devin Bush, these cats was out here like Tom and Jerry with Aaron Rodgers, chasing the mouse. Oh, I got to get him for dinner, like a cat. How you sit here and watch that Buccaneers game and tell me that they're not a top 2 team? And
look, this may shock everybody here, but I'm piggybacking right off the real Lil, and I'm going to go ahead and agree with his ranking. I put the Seattle Seahawks, the Tampa Bay Bucs 2, and Green Bay 3, and here's why. That defense, to me, propelled that team big time in the rankings. There was big questions about the secondary. Everybody wondered if they would be, this solid secondary, if the youth would be able to put up with top teams in the league. And everybody knew the front 7 was great, but we hadn't seen a performance like we saw yesterday. Devin White and Levante David, the amount of times I heard these guys' names, I wanted to shut the damn TV off. Devin White with 10 tackles and a half sack. Levante David, 8 tackles and 1.5 sacks. JPP came to play with 1.5 sacks. The secondary, like I referred to, big game. Aaron Rodgers goes out and gets 2 Devontae happy. finally comes back into the mix, and Rodgers wants to force the ball to him. Jamel Dean returns it for 6. Next damn drive, Rodgers, what does he do? Try to force the ball in traffic again to look for Devontae. Carlton Davis tips the ball, and Mike Edwards gets the pick to set up Ronald Jones for a walk-in touchdown. After that, it was just downhill. The defense showed me that it is the real deal. Not the real deal, the real deal. But the Bucs, man, like me and Lil talked about, you know, with Brady, he doesn't even have to do too much, especially when the damn secondary is blowing coverage like a mother effer. Josh Jackson, the replacement for Kevin King, got burnt all game. Gronk finally showed up. The offense was clicking. The run defense, which I've never been high on, Mike Pettin, has never done a good job with play calling in terms of the run game. I mean, this guy also, with the pass rush, was rushing 3 damn passers. Brady had all the time in the world to sit there. So the run defense got rolled over by Ronald Jones. We saw it in the chip game last year. I thought Pettin should have been out of the door. And, you know, I got to keep it plain and simple. We got beat, and it is one game. You know, Rodgers had a really bad game. Everybody has a bad game out there, but I'm looking for them to rebound and continue on with the season. But it was a tough loss, and that's why right now I could take the Bucs number 2.
Before you get in here, Zach, I got to come to you with my receipts. I'm coming to everybody today. We was on the plane together. You were sitting in the same row as me. We were sitting right next to each other on our way to Cancun. You know, a little friendship. Go out to play ping pong, whatever, holler at the ladies. All right. And then as soon as the plane started turbulating, right, you was on the same plane. You was like the Buccaneers is going to win the NFC South, you know, possibly go to the Super Bowl. And before, you know, when we had those turbulence, because obviously we didn't have a lot of training camps together, receivers was rotating. You got your parachute on. You jumped off the plane, left me in the plane by myself as it was turbulating. But I'm here to let you know, my brother, Destination Cancun, it still is for us. We will go, we will arrive to our final destination, which is actually Tampa Bay, not Cancun, which is actually Tampa Bay for that Super Bowl. Zach, explain yourself, my brother. Do you want to come back on the plane or no?
Well, yeah, I think it really just depends on where exactly this plane is going. I never for a second hopped off my prediction that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would win the NFC South. I still think they are. No doubt about it. You guys know I don't like the Saints. I've never, jumped ship with that. My only thing is this. The reason why I was impressed so much with Tampa Bay and their performance yesterday was because of what you guys have been talking about, the defense. And behind, as Kenny C said, Levante David, Devin White, and the big guys up front, JPP, that was super impressive. And the way they were able to shut down Aaron Rodgers and the Packers offense, which going into the game was just one of the best and most dynamic offenses in the league, super impressive. My thing is this. I feel good saying right now that Tampa Bay is the 3rd best team in the NFC. I think as a conference as a whole, the NFC as a conference is much weaker than we thought it was. I don't think the Rams are that good. I think they were exposed a little bit last night. The 49ers have had their problems. The Saints have had their problems. Carolina's inconsistent. The NFC East is no good. The Lions nor Vikings are consistent. So I think as a whole, the NFC as a conference is not very good. But what I'll say is this. I do think Tampa Bay right now is the 3rd best team in the NFC, just because yesterday, Kenny C, I know as a lifelong Packer fan, you could confirm with me. I don't think I've seen Aaron Rodgers play a worse game than he did yesterday, man. Like, honestly, like the Buccaneers, defense, all credit to them, but that was probably the worst game I've ever seen Rodgers play. And the thing is, I'll give the Bucs offense some credit too. Ronald Jones looks really good. My only thing is this, is that if you're asking Tampa Bay's offense to make a big play and to get the job done, and if you're asking them to outduel someone in a shootout, I just don't know if they could do that. And that is my concern for the future. That was my concern going into yesterday, because as good as the performances their defense had yesterday, and I'll give them all the credit in the world, I think, consistently, I'll say it solidly, they are the 3rd best team in the NFC right now. My only thing is, I don't know if I could see Tom Brady outdoing Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson in a big game, in, that kind of environment, in a gunslinger kind of environment, a shootout, because I just don't know if the Bucs offense is that good enough. Tom Brady was fine yesterday. He wasn't, anything special. I just think the Bucs won yesterday because of their defense and not their offense, which I still have.
Well, they definitely won yesterday because of their defense, and nobody's denying that. But let's not forget that the Buccaneers are still rotating guys in and out of the offense. Yesterday was Chris Godwin's first game back. He wasn't 100%. He wasn't even 80%. Same thing with Mike Evans. He's not even 100%. He's not even 90%. Same thing with Scotty Miller. So it's not like, you know, they had all this time together. And, yeah, we can sit here and say by now they should have got that chemistry because they had a couple games, but these guys were in and out of the lineup. So the offense is not going to be great right now. The defense is going to carry along the team. When the offense needs a little flow, the offense will gain into a flow. But the defense is so good that it's going to keep them in a lot of games. Like I said with the Packers, I have not seen the ability for them to come back in games. There's going to be times when you're going to be down 10 points, but can you come back? Anytime they lose it seems like they can't come back from that.
The thing with Green Bay is like, and from a straight up perspective, like I'm not even like trying to be like, oh, well, he's just a Packers fan. Like most of the time, we're not really trailing that by that much in most games.
And here's the other thing, Will, you're making it out like Tampa Bay had this great comeback yesterday, but because of the offense. But keep in mind, like
I didn't say it was because of the offense. I clearly said that the defense carried the team.
Right? No, exactly. But what I'm saying is this: is that when you look at it, the Bucs offense, when you're saying like, oh, I'm concerned about Green Bay's offense and the ability for them to possibly come back, that's kind of how I feel about New England's or about Tampa Bay's offense. It's a certain game plan. You know what I mean?
Back in a lot of games this year. They had showed in 2 games this year the ability to come back more than the Packers in 2 years. So
I know,
but when you look at the Tampa Bay offense, y'all expecting it to be this high-flying offense because they have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. If you watched the offense yesterday, you cannot sit here and tell me that team did not look like a New England team. Tom Brady, after all those turnovers and all those penalties, they went from 11 in one game to 0.
But that's the thing, though, Leo.
No, right, but that's
playbook.
The thing you prided yourself on going into the season was how explosive their offense was going to
exactly.
be.
And
I never said it was going to be. I said it was going to be a team that was going to be carried by the defense, like Denver Broncos.
Be straight up.
You can go in the chat where I tagged you in that whole chat with me, you and Ace,
I'm talking before that, bro. I'm talking preseason. You were talking about how many weapons they got on offense.
And I saw the
Brady
game.
has the weapons.
All right. How many predictions we had that blow over in the preseason? Let's not act like we don't have terrible preseason.
Listen,
I'm not coming at you. I'm just saying. The main focal point of this team, from any NFL fan's perspective, was how good the offense was going to be because of
the names, because of the weapons. But it's like the defense. The defense. Well, a lot of people were sleeping on the defense. That defense was a top 10. That defense was a top 10 defense last year towards the end of the year. When we interviewed Greg Allman, I said, "Are we overlooking the defense of the Buccaneers?" And he said absolutely. So it was the people that didn't watch the Buccaneers because they were never on prime time, and Jameis Winston was an interception machine. Leaving that defense on that field is why people didn't respect the defense as much as they should have the offense. The defense is as good as the offense is on paper.
Wait, but let me just say this real quick. I think when you just look at everything as a whole, I think there are valid points made by both. I think the Buccaneers defense has been very good, obviously. Much better than anyone could have ever expected. Will, my question is this. No matter what defense is around you, and no matter what skill position players, offensive line are around you, you guys know the main position you need to win in the NFL is quarterback. And my only thing is, I just think Aaron Rodgers had such a bad game yesterday that in the playoffs, that's not going to happen. And I understand Tom Brady's the GOAT. I get it. And I think that gets you so far. I think Tampa Bay's ceiling right now with Tom Brady as their quarterback is winning the NFC South. I don't know if I could see them going into playing Green Bay or Seattle in a playoff game and outscoring them because I don't think Tampa Bay's defense is that good to an extent. Listen, I just don't think their defense is that good to an extent. You just said it yourself that their defense is the reason why they've been winning games, and you said that their defense is their strength. I don't see that strength carrying over into January and being able to outscore Rodgers or Wilson. And
who's to say it's going to be an outscoring game, though? We don't know how the game is going to be. But it's not, because it's like y'all making it seem like, oh, it's going to be a shootout. Everybody said this game was going to be a shootout this past game.
No.
Everybody was like, Brady versus Rodgers. You think you said it. Everybody said it. So the game can change.
Look, bro, I hear what you're saying, and I hear what Zach's saying.
If they playing Green Bay, the weather, let's say it's snowing.
Both are valid sides, but if you do look at it, though, like, Rodgers, bro, that just lit a fire under his ass even more than he already had because he played such a terrible game. He's not going to have such a terrible game like that again. You're going to sit here and tell me that a guy who had 157 pass attempts without a pick, and then he threw the pick yesterday, 2 picks, 1 pick. Aaron Rodgers does not throw. You don't even expect him to throw 1. He threw 2. Now you know he had a shit game.
But
you know he was off.
My thing
that
here
doesn't
is
happen.
Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't take accountability.
And, I think we need to kind of a kick in the ass a little bit as a little bit of a wake up to, stop feeling ourselves so much and get back to the things that got us to this position. And I think this would be, unfortunately, but fortunately, something we can really grow from.
No, you don't need that kick. You didn't need that kick. Y'all got dismantled. That's not supposed to be the mindset. Your mindset is supposed to be, we need to play better. That's what Tom Brady got on his team. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are 2 different people. Tom Brady, after a loss like that, would be yelling at his teammates, yelling at his offensive line, saying, we got to get better. And it showed in this game because they did not kill themselves with penalties.
When you're 4-0, you damn well need a wake-up call before it gets close to playoff time.
That's not something to cherry about.
I think the Bucs needed this game too. Let's not forget that, man. The Bucs
did. I mean,
we all know
exactly.
that.
They were what 2 and
they were coming off that loss to Chicago.
And
for me, I think that is another reason why Tampa Bay looked so good in this game, man. The Bear game came to a surprise to many. And, coming off a loss, you expected Tom Brady to be at his best. And once again, he was fine yesterday. It's just, I don't think this, narrative that, Green Bay needed a wake-up call. It's just they had a bad game. It happens. And Tampa Bay needed the game more. I think if Tampa Bay would have lost this game, you would have.
I said that. It's one game.
Let's not act like they wasn't up 10-0. So Tampa Bay needed the game. The urgency wasn't there. The urgency wasn't there in the beginning because they were down. They were about to get put out. So, yeah, you could blame it all. Tampa Bay needed this game. They were about to get blown out.
That's all it takes.
They were about to get blown out. The defense took over the game.
Right.
Every time Aaron Rodgers go up against a great defensive line, he struggles sometimes. And we saw it against the 49ers. That pressure got to him. The same thing with the Bucs. They had that pressure. What do you think will happen when they go up against Chicago?
We were having this conversation last year. I would have agreed with you. Last year, kind of going into that 49er game, I kind of saw this coming, right? Like Kenny C, we have this conversation all the time.
NFC chip, bro, I didn't see anything changing.
No, right.
They already stomped us in the regular season.
No, right. But so last year when we watched the Packers, even though they were a 13-3 team, I didn't feel like they were good enough to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Oh, no. And this year, I think, I think I could see it, man. Their offense is much more dynamic. I've been saying that since, really week 1 when they went into Minnesota and lit up the Vikings defense. Now, once again, I'll give Tampa Bay credit for rising up to the occasion. I think their defense was phenomenal. Just once again, that game was probably the worst game of Aaron Rodgers' career that I've ever seen him play. I think that game is an outlier going forward. And once again, for Tampa Bay, I think right now they've solidified themselves as the best team in the NFC South, a top 4 team in the NFC, maybe a top 5-6 team in football. It's just, once again, in 2020, when you need a score to win, I haven't seen that from Tom Brady yet. And I'm going to, give it till the rest of the season, man. It's still a long season, as you guys know. He's still having some time to incorporate all these different factors into his offense. It's just right now in a big spot, I don't know if I could see him putting up more points than a Wilson or a Rodgers.
My last point on this topic before we move on is that, there's 2 types of people in this world. We all know that saying. When we look at Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, there are 2 different types of guys. After a loss, Tom Brady gets on his team. He doesn't make no excuses. He doesn't say, we needed this and nothing like that. You would never hear that come from Brady's mouth. He's going to tune out his guys, and he's going to get them to play better. Aaron Rodgers saying we needed that. They didn't need to get blown out like that. I could understand, all right, they lost, whatever. You need a little, but you didn't need to get – hold up. They didn't need to get blown out like that. They didn't need to get blown out like that. And that's the same thing I said with Aaron Rodgers when we went back to that comment. Bro. When we went back to his comment about him saying average years for me is career years for other quarterbacks. Once again, not taking accountability for your off year. That's the point that I was making on that topic, and I'm transferring it.
This is an off game,
Is that, bro, even in the off game, that cockiness that he brings to the table and not being accountable,
you said it yourself,
we need to play better, is why they're not going to go for it.
There are 2 different types of players. What do you want?
And that's why Tom Brady is going to lead the Buccaneers down the road, because we saw it. We saw it last week
Bro,
when they lost
you
that game.
flashback to when Rodgers was banged up and everybody was worried about going into the playoffs if the Packers would be all right. Rodgers said a simple statement, RELAX, relax. That's all he needed to say at that time to his team.
Yeah.
Just relax because we're going to be good. He doesn't need to go out there and say, you need to do better. You need to do better. This guy, like, bro, they're two different types of players.
Rodgers is just a cocky guy. I'm going to be real with you.
What gift did you send me last night, Leo?
Brady reminds me
like this.
There's a difference. Let me tell you about Brady.
No.
Brady,
Come on. I'm about to get you.
Brady is that humble.
Did Brady shake Nick Foles' hand last week? Did he shake his hand?
Brady shake Aaron Rodgers' hand.
He walked
Brady
off the
shake
field.
Drew Brees' hand. He doesn't like for some
he lost last
reason.
week. He lost last week, but he shake Nick Foles' hand.
For some
He
reason,
not, right? He left, right?
With him. Who's to say him and Nick Foles don't got no beef on the side? Who's to say that?
Well,
Because he shook everybody else's hand.
Foles won the Super Bowl.
But my thing is, Brady has a combination of cockiness with humbleness. Like in the media, you never hear Tom Brady say, we're going to beat that team, we're going to distort it. You never hear that. You know, at times he'll show it all. You feel me? But we all know Aaron Rodgers is more cocky than Brady. You know what I'm saying? That?
Bro, we know.
I'm having a tough time. Why does this all matter? I think we
this matters.
I'm kind of wondering the same thing.
This matters to me.
No, but listen,
bro. The way how you carry yourself matters a lot in your success. We all could attest to that. The way how you carry yourself means a lot to your success.
No, I get it. And when I said like, why does it matter? I don't mean like that. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant to the fact of like, this is nothing new. Like we know.
Yeah,
Tom
we
Brady
knew Rodgers.
Yeah,
we knew how they were.
Like if you're a Packer fan, like it's not like that comment is gonna bother you. Like that Aaron Rodgers.
I know Rodgers is cocky.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. It's not like it's anything we've never expected. I agree with Kenny C. I just think it was a bad game from the Packers. And if you're the Buccaneers, you deserve credit, but you move on and see what happens.